Hello.
Hello and welcome to Practically Effective. This is a podcast about effects, props and stunts in various films. Today we're talking about Jason and the Argonauts. So Joe, what did you think about Jason and the Argonauts?
Well, this truly is a reversal. I quite enjoyed Jason and the Argonauts.
We can't use that intro. I'm laughing too much during the whole thing.
I mean, I think I ruined it as well with laughter. But I might keep it in. I'll do one. A very clean one. Hello, and welcome to Practically Effective. This is a podcast about effects, props, and stunts in various films, and today we're discussing Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
So, Will.
So Joe.
What did you think of Jason and the Argonauts?
You've broken
the sacred rule!
A sentence in.
What a mess. Okay, so, for everyone who hasn't listened to our Apollo 13 episode, go listen, it's one of the best.
Yep.
At the end of it, we announced Jason and the Argonauts, and
You've done it again.
we decided on a rule that we will only call the film by its proper name once.
Yep.
Which I've now broken twice.
I've now broken it twice. But anyway, I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to like it very much, but I was surprised how much I liked it. I actually quite enjoyed it.
It has a certain charm to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, it's not as dull as I expected.
Yeah, well, a lot of movies from the 1960s are very slow,
Yeah.
and I was expecting that, but no, it was pretty good. Although there's some very dumb
There are some very silly bits. Well, the whole premise is a bit silly.
Would you like to tell everyone what the whole premise is of Jason and the Astronauts?
Well, so, there's this guy, Jason, and some other guy that was going to be that guy, if I do it.
Oh, he definitely had a name, didn't he?
There's a guy who kills Jason's father and takes over his kingdom.
Yep.
And then Jason wants to get his kingdom back, and he decides the best way to do that is to get a golden fleece.
Okay, let's go back to the very beginning.
Because he says that Zeus told him to get the fleece, doesn't he?
Well, the first thing we see is the prophecy.
Yeah.
And the villain, the evil king, is like, I wish for a prophecy, how am I going to do in battle? And the guy looks into his ashes in his hands and he's like,
There's a golden fleece at the end of the world, put there by the gods as a gift to men.
And the evil king is like, can you just tell me how the battle's going to go, please? I clearly asked about that. And the guy's like, yeah, you're going to win the battle. But because you're a jerk, one of the king's sons will come and he'll kill you, but not now.
Well, it's important because he doesn't say the king's son. He says one of the king's children, which is important later on.
Then the battle all goes down.
And the evil king finds the old king's two daughters.
Yes, one of whom is in her mid-20s.
And one of them's in his 20s, yeah.
Yep.
Kills the one in her 20s. Only after he's killed one of them.
Oh yeah, because she runs into the temple and calls on Hera for protection, doesn't she?
That's right.
And
she calls on Hera to protect the baby.
Yeah. And if she
possibly
was
her as well, but maybe not.
If I'm alright, protect me as well.
If I'm alright, protect me too.
Clearly she wasn't.
Only after her being killed does Hera appear and tell the evil general, it's actually Jason, isn't it, that's going to come and kill you.
He snuck out when you weren't looking.
You needn't have killed that woman, and if I'd appeared like 5 seconds earlier, she wouldn't have died.
She must have been a horrible person.
Yeah.
But then Hera is mad that her temple has been desecrated.
Yes, exactly. If you'd shown up like 5 seconds earlier, it wouldn't have happened.
Anyway, we both really enjoyed this movie. Oh, we should have mentioned up top, Jason and the Cosmonauts was suggested to us by a listener.
Ah, yes, it was. Have you got the email?
No.
No.
Do you have the email?
No.
Where is he? I starred it, look.
Oh, good job.
It's one of the best emails we've ever been sent.
Good job.
Do you know this man?
I know his sister, and I have heard his voice in the background.
And Chris writes, Hello, hosts of Practically Effective.
That's us.
Truly it is.
Yeah.
I've been watching your podcast.
He's been watching our podcast. He watches the little thing progress along the screen.
Hours of joy have been brought to him by SoundCloud's little bar.
Yep.
I've been watching your podcast since you released your video on Jurassic Park, and I gotta say, I am loving every bit of it.
Or maybe he means he watches it on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't, because I've seen him on the SoundCloud net. Because I spy on people that way. So yeah, carry on.
Anyway, we got through the first line of the email. Anyway, thank you for your compliments, good sir. He says, growing up, I've always had a deep love for mythology. So the movie I'd like you to look at... Nope.
The movie I want you to look at has been a long-time favourite of mine since I was a young lad.
Jason and the Argonauts.
You've done it again! That's why I was pausing, because I was trying to think of something.
I didn't say it. Chris said it.
Okay.
It's allowed.
I'll let you off.
I need to write this rule in very big letters at the top of my... Hang on. Do not say...
Jason. Oh, I nearly did it.
Well, you can say Jason and they. You just got to flail at the end.
Yeah. Good job.
Excellent. So, thank you, Chris, for your email. Please other people email us.
And so now we're doing the geriatric Argentinians. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just remember, every time we make a joke about how bad this movie is, it's one of Chris's favourites.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad film.
No.
We're gonna take the piss out of it. But because there's a lot of silly stuff in it.
There is.
But I quite enjoyed it, actually.
I actually think that's some of the charm of it. If they'd all taken it deadly seriously, it would not be as fun.
Yeah.
So, a woman just got murdered.
Yep.
Hero rocked up.
It's gonna be Jason that you gotta watch out for.
Yep, and he might have one sandal on when you see him.
She helps the evil guy find Jason, and is then very protective of Jason and adamant that he should succeed, even though she helped the evil guy find him.
Well, I like an old-timey prophecy, though. I love an old-timey prophecy that's like, you will be killed by a man carrying a cow.
It is implying he's going to kill him with the cow. He's gonna bludgeon him to death.
These are the two things I love about old-timey prophecies. They're always about your doom and demise, and they're always incredibly vague. In a specific way.
I don't think being said you're going to be killed by a man with a cow. It's not really vague.
She's not like in 20 years you'll be killed by a man with one sandal.
Yeah.
It's...
At some point,
a
bloke with one sandal is going to rock up and kill you. Jumping right to the end of the film, we never actually see Jason kill the general. So presumably though, because he has one sandal on when he first meets the evil king.
Yes.
But presumably he must have also had one sandal on as he kills him. Because the reason he has one sandal on when they meet is because it falls off in the river.
Yes. But before he leaves the king's camp, he's got two sandals on again.
Yeah.
So I reckon the first thing the king did was like, put another sandal on!
Put a sandal on!
You can't kill me, have sandals!
He just has a rule that no one can come in his castle unless they have two sandals on. So.
Anyway, so Hera rocks back up to Mount Olympus. Now what do you think of Mount Olympus?
The way they did it, it made it just look like it was just like floating in the clouds.
Yeah. Mount Olympus reminded me quite a bit of Krypton.
No, I don't think so.
No? You don't think it reminded me of Krypton?
No, I don't think it reminded you of Krypton.
So I quite liked it. There was some nice stuff going on.
I actually quite liked the way they did the perspective when you've got tiny Jason talking to the giant gods.
That was really good.
Yeah.
We have missed an effect that we haven't talked about.
What's
It's
that?
the weird smoky Hera appearing effect and disappearing. She like becomes a smoke silhouette and then vanishes.
Oh yeah.
Which is quite good.
Yeah.
Something I like about these movies is that, like, with a computer, you can make literally anything. Like, nowadays, with CGI. If you can imagine it, you can make it in a computer. Back in the day, they had to do this with, like, technical expertise and use their wile and cunning.
But as we talked about, not in the podcast, just beforehand, a lot of the stuff in this is really the same fundamental effects, but used in different ways.
But that's why I like it, because they're being ingenious. They're thinking of new and different ways to do roughly the same few things that they can do. So the gods have a little chat up on Mount Olympus. Did you like Zeus and Hera and their little chats?
It confused me quite a lot. But to be honest, I think that's just the Greek gods being the dickish people they are.
They really are.
Like, it doesn't really make sense, but that's just how the way they are. Zeus clearly is sort of orchestrating this whole ordeal.
Yeah.
But then he's trying to make Jason fail at it.
Yep.
But he clearly wanted to get the fleece, so that's just the way the Greek gods are, though. So.
But Hera basically wants to protect Jason to avenge the death of his sister who was killed by the evil king.
Yes.
And Zeus makes a deal with Hera and is like, you can help him 5 times to defeat the king.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying, Jason, go stab the king.
Yeah. Because it's never made clear what counts as helping him. You could just say, bringing the golden fleece directly to Jason counts as helping him once. And also, like, whenever she does it, she never, like, really helps specifically. She always gives you really vague...
In riddles and mysteries.
Yes. But, like, why? Because, like, giving him a precise answer is still only helping him one time.
Sometimes she does. She's like, look, at noon you're going to reach an island. You can have food and water there, but don't touch anything else.
And other times she's really vague.
But yes, if I was helping him 5 times, I would shove the king off the horse.
Yep.
Because that's a great thing to do. And then I'd give Jason a gun.
Yeah, I'd give Jason an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Also, Zeus offers him a crew, right?
Yep.
So presumably Hera could just give him, like, an army.
That's a really good point. I was going to say the gods don't interact with things, but they do. She pushes him off a horse.
Yeah.
Well, no, she doesn't.
She scares him. She appears suddenly in front of the horse.
And the horse goes, "Ugh!"
Spooks it. The horse then throws the evil general guy off his back. And that apparently counts as helping Jason once.
We didn't mention that there's a 20-year gap.
No, Jason is not a baby at the time that he finds the general.
Oh dear, we've radically improved the movie. This was the first scene where I was like, the scene when my hero appears and pushes him on the horse.
Yeah.
This is the first scene where I was like, okay, I can have some fun with this movie. Oh dear, and Jason dives in, he does an amazing dive and grabs the king and pulls him out of the water. And the king spies that he has but one sandal.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey Jason, come back to my camp.
Instead of just killing him there and then.
But Hero has been like, or someone said to him, if you kill Jason, you kill yourself.
But that's not what she said though. She said, if you kill Jason, it will be the end of you as well.
Yeah.
But as far as he's concerned, if you're going to believe the prophecies of the gods completely, then Jason is going to kill him at some point anyway. So surely you're better off killing Jason. You might last a bit longer anyway. Or just like keep him prisoner.
That would work just as well.
Yeah.
Although it would then be a self-fulfilling prophecy where Jason would hate him for imprisoning him and then escape and murder him or something. But I do like the fact that he doesn't just try and kill Jason immediately. Because they could have done that. They could have been like, yeah, the king stabs at Jason and Jason is like, oh no, a villain. I must defeat this evil king by getting a golden sheep. But no, he befriends him. I like that in a movie. I like it when the villain pretends to be on side with the hero or vice versa. So yes, he sends Jason away.
First of all, Jason meets up with Hermes.
Yes.
Because Jason doesn't believe in the gods.
Yeah,
he's talking to the king's advisor, who's the same guy as earlier gave the prophecy.
Yeah.
And he says to the advisor, like, I don't believe in the gods, I made you. And then the advisor guy goes, come with me, I will show you something. And then just turns into Hermes. And also grows really big.
Yep, he does. He appears, and doesn't he have, like, he has the winged helmet, doesn't he? And I was like, oh, it's Jay Garrick, the Flash! Then I realised my error.
Because there's a bit, like, a few minutes earlier, where there's a fallen statue of Hermes.
Yep.
And Jason looks at the statue and goes, Hermes. And the advisor goes, yes?
He's rubbish at being in disguise.
Pretending to not be Hermes. But anyway, yes, then Hermes takes Jason up to Mount Olympus.
He does, and puts him on the table.
Puts him on the table, yeah.
And then Jason has a nice chat with Zeus. And
I think that's quite symbolic. I don't know if this was intentional, but if you notice, like, the board that they put him on is like their chessboard.
Yes,
yeah.
I saw that as well,
Jason is one of their little pieces that they move around.
Yeah. Zeus is very up and down on him, isn't he?
He is.
So Zeus offers him a ship and the best people in the world to be the ship people. Be the Argonauts.
Ship people?
Yeah.
We are the ship people.
And Jason's like, no, I got this. And Zeus is then real mad and then has a sudden respect for him. And then Hera tells him, is that when she tells him go look on the island of Colchis or the land of Colchis or maybe it's another time?
Maybe a bit later.
Yeah. Yes, actually I quite like that scene because I wasn't expecting it and it's the first like good effect.
Yes.
But then what happens? Oh yes, he says, no Zeus, I don't want your soldiers. I'm going to organise a games to find the best people in all of Greece. Yep. I'll get the best ship there ever was.
Then
And there's a whole like 10-minute scene of him getting the crew together and then he just goes and finds a boat. He's like the first boat he sees. And he's like, we will sail on this boat, the Argo.
No, that's not what happens.
That's totally what happens.
That's a really good reading of what happens.
Yeah.
And it would be much better if that is what happened. But I'm fairly sure it's heavily implied he commissioned the boat earlier.
Yeah, I hope so. So, the games.
The games?
They're fun, aren't they?
Well, you don't really see much of them. You just see... So it's basically like a montage.
It's a great montage, though. Because, like, the second any competition ends, Jason runs in and puts a little white bandana around the winner. So there's like a boxing match, and one guy knocks the other out, and Jason's just there in a second. He's like, you are the victor! And everyone, all the extras are really enthusiastic.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They're absolutely loving this Greek Olympics.
Then Hercules shows up.
Yes.
He shows up late to the games and basically just doesn't bother competing.
I like to think, right, that Hercules, he's never actually done anything great, but everyone takes it on reputation.
Thinks he has, yeah.
He's not the actual Hercules, and everyone assumes he's the real guy. Because like a few years back, there was a movie about Hercules starring The Rock, wasn't there?
Right.
Because that's the physique of a man you'd consider for Hercules. Hercules in this movie is like a 50-year-old man, a scrawny man.
Scrawny.
I mean, he's great though, but he's always so upbeat about everything.
Yes.
He's always like, "Oh, this will be a fun adventure," and he's thrilled to be there, isn't he?
Also, he's convinced that the best weapon possible to mankind is like a hairpin or something.
Yeah, he's also a bit of an idiot. But Hercules shows up and he's like, "Sorry, I'm late to your Olympics." And they're like, "Oh, it's okay, Hercules, you can come. We don't need to test you."
And then some other guy rocks up. What's his name?
Is it Hylos?
We'll go with Hylos. That's his name now. He rocks up and
Oh,
everyone...
we didn't mention that the evil king sends his evil son on to follow Jason to go on the voyage with him.
Yes.
So that if he gets close to retrieving the Golden Fleece, which has magical powers of healing and bringing prosperity to your land, then he will be stopped or do a murder or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so...
Then, possibly Hylos rocks up.
Yep.
Everyone's laughing at him.
Because he's late to the games
And
too.
he's late and he doesn't look very athletic.
Nope.
So then he challenges Hercules to the discus.
Yep. Oh, and they make a point of being like, "Hey, Hercules, do you reckon you could throw a discus to that rock?" And then someone's like, "What, that rock? No one's ever thrown a discus halfway to that rock before."
As if that's a thing that people have regularly tried to do.
Well, my boy, we tried back in '84 to throw a discus to that island. Old Jim had been working his arm for 60 years, carrying cows. He had the strongest arm you'd ever seen.
That's the guy carrying the cow who's going to kill the king.
And he took the discus in his hand and he flung it with all his might, and it went about halfway. And that was the best any man has ever done, at throwing a discus to that rock, which doesn't have a name.
Discus rock.
Discusless rock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hercules effortlessly throws the discus.
It glides in a very odd arc.
Majestically, Joe.
It's not a good
It's
effect.
majestic. Clangs against the rock. Everyone's ecstatic.
They are
They're
thrilled.
just thrilled. There's no way this new guy, possibly Theistus or whatever his name is.
Okay, new rule, we have to give him a different name every time we refer to him.
Well, that's easy for me because I'll forget what I call him. He's clearly not gonna best Hercules at this. A man who apparently has never thrown a discus before.
Yeah.
Which makes what he does next still very, very good.
That's a really good point, I didn't remember that.
He's apparently never thrown a discus before, but he's able to throw the discus in such a way that it skips along the surface of the water.
So, it bounces twice, like quite close to the surface, and then just leaps over
up
the...
again.
I assume a fish must have headbutted it.
That effect is really bad.
That's terrible. And everyone is amazed.
Everyone's amazed.
He's like, "You will need brains as well as brawn."
He's now-
As if you needed no brawn to achieve that
He's
stunt.
now Hercules' best friend.
They are now best
They
buds.
are now best friends.
Alright, so then we get to
The ship.
the ship.
The name of the guy who built the ship
Yep.
is Argos.
Yep.
That's all I have to say. I don't know if they have Argos in America
Dunno.
or non-Britain countries.
Non-Britain.
It's a shop.
It's a big old shop where you can
Yeah.
buy electronics, you can buy games, you can buy children's toys, you can buy a bed, you can buy a chair, you can buy curtains.
Anyway, this is the guy that built the ship.
And Hewell has made a radical decision in the building of his ship.
What's his radical decision, Joe?
He decided to put the figurehead that looks at the water where you're going at the back of the ship to watch over the sailors, also known as Argonauts.
That's another bit of bad writing. Like, when Jason asks him why he did that,
Yeah.
he just goes like, "I don't know, I had a feeling I should do that."
I can put it at the front if you want. And Jason's like, "No, this seems fitting. It would be awkward if in my conversations with Hera I had to hang off the front of the ship."
But the figurehead, it turns out, is a representation of Hera.
Yep.
And so whenever Jason wants to talk to Hera, he just goes over to the figurehead.
Yep.
How natter.
Because
Shall we talk about the figurehead itself?
yeah, let's.
How naff it is. The worst thing about the figurehead is the opening and
I
closing
don't know what
arms.
you mean. Well, I thought that was seamless.
Whenever Jason wants to talk to Hera, The eyes of the figurehead slowly open. It's really bad. It looks like a painted piece of cardboard, to be honest.
And the thing is, though, when he built it, it had the eyes open.
Yeah.
And then it, like, blinked halfway through that scene. And then presumably just closes its eyes and then only opens them when wisdom is called on. There's a bit when he's talking to it on the ship and all the sailors are like, what's this guy doing?
What's he doing?
What's this guy doing? Talking to the figurehead of the ship.
Well, I don't think they can hear him. As far as the sailors can see, he's just staring deeply into the eyes of the figurehead.
So they call the ship the Argo, and then they make off, I think, don't they? They make
Then
off
they
next.
leave, I think, yeah.
So everyone, all the extras who are super enthusiastic about going on this wacky adventure together are immediately mad that they have to row a boat. 2 minutes in, they're grumpy, grumbling, and have used all of their supplies.
It's not 2 minutes in the world there.
No, in the world, it's 2 minutes in.
I assume it's been several days.
Yeah, I imagine.
Also, I don't believe where they're going, that bit is mapped out.
Yeah.
So they presumably just had no plans on where they were going to get food from. So presumably they would have, at least, if they hadn't just packed a ton of food to start with, planned an island to stop at and get more food. But instead they just were hoping to just run into an island at some point.
That was the plan. Jason's not very good at planning things.
It's not very smart. When he said he needed veins as well as brawn, I think he was right.
Yeah. The other thing I love about this is that he gets into this situation and immediately panics and asks Hera for help.
Yes. The first thing, he doesn't even try and think about anything else. His first response to any sort of hurdle is to go and ask Hera for help.
Yeah, which he does. While neglecting to steer the ship at the...
Yeah.
Because he goes to the back and he's like, hey Argos, you go look in your catalogue or something. I'll steer for a bit. And then he takes the rudder, immediately lets go, and turns his back on the ship, where it's going, and talks to Hera. He couldn't have just said, hey, this figurehead that you made, which had eyes open earlier and now has closed eyes, is my way of talking to Hera, who has offered me 5 hints on this voyage. So he goes and asks Hera, and Hera's like, don't worry, island, 12 o'clock. And she says, go there, get food and water, and hightail it back to the ship.
Don't take anything else.
Don't take any large golden brooches.
Yes.
So they get to the island.
Yeah.
Hercules and his new buddy.
Hercules and his new best friend, Theseus.
The guy who famously slayed the Minotaur. They're all really thirsty and very hungry, but instead of looking for food, they run after some goats.
Well, because as I need to think of another Greek name.
Pleiades.
As Pleiades pointed out, goats give you milk, which you can drink.
Yep.
And you can also kill goats and eat them. You could also eat a goat before killing it. But that would not be the usual way to do things.
Oh dear. But what I like is that they run after these goats. Everyone else goes in another direction. And Hercules and Plonkibus run off.
Plonkibus! That sounds more Latin than Greek.
Oh, I'm sorry. Martin.
Okay, sure. Martin.
Hercules and Martin.
Yeah.
They run off and immediately trip over each other.
They do. Well, Hercules falls over.
Yep.
This is the great and mighty Hercules. He's chasing a goat and he falls over.
He's a bit past it at this point, isn't he? The great and mighty Hercules.
And then the other guy just runs and trips over Hercules.
It's a pitiful display.
It's just
the man with the brains over brawn can't walk around a large man. Anyway, so they follow the goats and then they find some giant bronze statues.
Yeah.
One of which is called Talos.
Even though just earlier Jason had warned them about Talos specifically.
Yes.
Hercules is saying, are you sure we only need to take food and water?
What if there's women?
Well,
I'll take one of them.
I'll take some of them. And then
They give you milk and meat. And Jason replied, you can take a woman as long as you eat it.
Jason then says, you have to only take food and drink or Talos will be angry with you.
You'll be real mad.
So they then run across a statue that says Talos on it.
In massive
and
letters.
immediately proceed to steal some golden jewelry.
Well, they both go in.
Yeah.
Stephen finds a pearl. the size of his head.
I don't think you're not putting much effort into this.
Hercules finds what he thinks is a javelin, but it's actually a big brooch.
Clearly a brooch. Yeah.
Yep. Jeremy
Well,
puts
the
his
brooch
pearl
pin,
back,
Yeah.
and Hercules is like, well, the gods shouldn't have left it lying around in this unlocked box.
Yeah.
Which frankly is true.
It's true. Yeah.
On an uninhabited island, protected only by goats. So he takes the javelin / brooch, and they hightail it back to the others, who are making it back onto the ship with lots of grapes. And they're like, where's Hercules and Brian? And they come running back, but tragedy strikes, because the great statue of Talos, the bronze statue, turns his big noggin.
He does.
And then he gets up. He has a nice lean on his plinth,
very
doesn't he?
slowly walks after them.
Yep. But he gets up and he has a little lean on his plinth for a minute. As if he's just got out of bed and he's like, alright then, what are we doing then today? What's today? Oh, hang on.
Or someone's dick's me javelin.
The brooch I can't pin onto my bronze self has been stolen. Also, I sound like this. Oh, hang on a minute. It was Hercules and Bercules.
I better apprehend the miscreants. I better.
He doesn't speak in the film.
Fortunately.
But we're dubbing his lines.
This is what he would have said had the director decided to put some effort into this film.
What do you think of the look of moving Talos, the giant bronze chap?
It looks too jerky. Like
I agree it looks jerky.
Yeah.
But in the interviews, Harryhausen, the guy who does the stop motion, Ray Harryhausen. His name isn't Harryhausen. I've just realised that sounds like that. Ray Harryhausen said that he did it intentionally because the guy's made of bronze. And normally he'd do his best to avoid jerky movements in stop motion, but he kind of put them in intentionally so they could put these creaking sounds in.
It's a living bronze statue, right?
Yep.
Made by a god.
Yep.
So,
Still creaks well.
I don't see why bronze would move any more jerkily than anything else. Really.
What you want is a beautiful fluid movement. You want him doing cartwheels down the beach.
Also, I think that the movements, to be honest, made him look a bit geriatric.
It really did.
And the noises don't help because he sounds all creaky.
He really does.
It's like it's his joints just creaking when he moves. It's a bit
I actually really like it. I think it's one of the better ones, given some of the others we get later on.
Some of the others are a bit worse, I admit.
So, Talos gives chase.
He does. Very slowly.
Because Talos does like some big lurching steps,
Yeah.
then he stands for a minute.
He does.
He assesses the situation.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, hello. These fine fellas have got a little bit of a backup.
And then they run away,
Yeah.
and then he does 3 steps after them, closing the distance, and then he stands there again.
Yeah.
He kind of just walks around rocks,
He does.
stands imposingly.
Yeah. He doesn't do much, and obviously this was a limitation of the techniques they were using.
Yeah.
He doesn't do much, like, hitting with his sword, you know.
No. But then they all get on the ship, they sail away, they think they're away,
Yeah.
they're going through a little pass, and Talos does the Colossus of Rhodes thing. He stands 1 foot on the island, the boat has to go through his legs. It's very embarrassing for him.
He reaches down,
He reaches.
picks up the boat,
Yep,
shakes it about,
he really does.
and...
Because he thinks the boat is the enemy.
the boat is the true
You know,
foe.
hang on a minute. This boat sent Hercules and Greg to steal my javelin.
Wait, about...
Everyone falls into the water. For some reason, Talos then doesn't just kill them while they're flailing about in the water.
I get the impression he can't go in the water, though.
No, but he can reach quite far.
This is true. So then they all get back on the beach and they're like, wow, thank goodness that's over. But it's not over.
The Hera statue, figurehead,
Oh, yes.
is not destroyed.
I'd forgotten.
Jason finds the Hera figurehead.
He does his go-to move of going to Hera and saying, how do we defeat Talos?
Hera says, before I tell you how to defeat Talos, maybe you should just try and figure it out yourself. But he goes, no, I don't want to do that, just tell me.
Look, we lost our boat and all the food and water we gathered.
Yeah.
We're in a bit of a tight spot. And she's like, but Jason, it's really obvious. You just got to look at, like, your eye level. And he's like, no, tell me, damn it.
Basically said they go for the ankle.
Yep, he's got an Achilles heel.
Is it before?
Wink,
is it
wink.
But anyway, Hera tells them about his Achilles heel.
Yep.
It's basically just like a release valve for all of his oil or whatever.
We'll call it blood.
Call it blood, yeah.
All his bronze blood.
All his bronze blood fell out.
So Jason finds his ankle. There's a
There's a
quick
big
release
valve,
He
which for some
twizzles
reason
it.
is there instead of like the back of the head. Well, I guess it's got to be at the bottom so that it can flow out without a pump.
That's a really good point. It's a
Yeah.
gravity system.
Yeah.
Why would you want all of your blood to come out?
I don't know.
If he was made by the gods,
Yeah.
they could have, like, made 90% of him, topped him up, screwed the head on. Then they wouldn't have this problem. Anyway, yes. Jason undoes the plug. All his life falls out.
Yep.
And then, the bit I really like is when his blood is coming out. And he's, like, clawing at his throat.
That was good. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I like that.
He really looks like he's in pain.
Yeah.
And then, as Hercules is running away, the incredible athlete that he is, he drops the large golden javelin, and Greekos... That was the last one I get to do. He's like, Hercules, you dropped your javelin. And he runs back towards the falling statue of Talos to grab the javelin, and then Phil Bussey is killed.
We're not very good at this.
I had a high point midway, but I peaked.
You had a high point with Hercules.
Maybe my high point was actually remembering his name when I first said it,
Yeah.
but it probably
Now
wasn't.
Forgotten.
So, yeah, he's killed by this falling, cracking statue of Talos.
Yeah.
What do you think?
About Hercules.
Yes, as a character.
I mean, like him and Hercules.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, because their names are very similar, they become very close friends very quickly.
They do, yeah.
And so it's quite touching, I guess. Like Hercules is like, well, we haven't got to this bit yet. Spoilers.
Yeah. Hercules assumes he's been lost in the running away from the giant bronze man, and says he's going to stay on the island and search for him.
Yeah. They rebuild the boat very quickly, given the presumably limited resources they have available. They very quickly rebuild
really
the boat
do.
to the same standard as it was on originally.
Yep.
And then he goes to the Hera statue and says, "Make Hercules stay, why don't you?"
And she's
Hera's
like, no.
no. But you're supposed to help me 5 times, so no.
She's like, no, the gods have a different path for him.
Yeah.
He's left this chess game and has gone to another one.
Yeah. Because Hercules says that they'll search for Hercules until morning. And then Hercules goes, I'm going to stay on the island and search for him however long it takes.
Yeah.
And then Jason goes to the Hera statue and says, just make Hercules.
Get him back here.
He goes, no.
You have to go find a blind man. I can't help you anymore.
Yeah.
My refusal to help you this time counts as my last help.
Yeah.
And then Jason karate chops the statue of Hera off the boat. He's like, well, if you're not going to help me, I have no more need of you. And then a swift chop.
You never helped me get ahead. Thank you. But yes.
That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
Jason's like, okay, thank you for all your help, Hera.
Why do they have to go speak to the blind man?
Because she's like, he has some information for you.
So they go to the blind guy.
Yep. But what I do like about this movie, though, is that they give him all these things, like an awesome crew, and a sexy boat, and all these tips from the gods. And then, after the first attack on them, he's lost all of them. The crew is real mad at him, the boat is destroyed, and he's used up all his wishes.
Yeah.
So, it's more of a struggle. It means then he's got to use his wits, instead of just going, Hera, can you help me again, please?
And there's a good example of that coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a good example of that comes up. What happens next?
Capturing the harpies.
They go see the... Yeah, then we just cut to a blind man.
Yes.
And he sits down for his din-dins.
Yeah.
Which is like 2 children run in, put some fruit and bread on a table for this blind man, and then immediately run away. Because I'm like, they must be scared of him because of his disability. But actually, 2 harpies come and just steal his dinner.
Yeah.
And there's like a long drawn out scene where he's waving a stick about.
Have you noticed how during that scene, one of the harpies at one point just flies in and steals his walking stick?
Yes. They actually filmed it at a 5,000-year-old temple. And they let the actors climb up the top and drape nets over it. And they'd never let you do that today. But there you are. They desecrated a historical site.
Then Jason arrives with his buds.
Jason and his buds. You said that me saying Philip for that guy's name was weak.
That wasn't a submission. I was referring to the group of the Argonauts as his buds.
His buds.
And goes to the old guy.
So I'm confused about this guy. So Zeus has sent these harpies to, like...
Torment him. Because he was a sinner, apparently.
Jacob and another Jacob trap the harpies that Zeus has sent to torment him.
Yeah.
And then Zeus is like, grr, how dare you? Also, here's some information to help you on your quest.
Well, Zeus doesn't give him the information.
Yeah, Zeus gives the seer the information, and the seer gives it to the Argonauts.
No. So, the seer was given the gift of foresight by Zeus.
Ah, okay.
Which he then abused.
So it's not like Zeus is whispering in his ear.
No. Zeus then punished him for misusing that by sending the harpies to torment him, and I think also making him blind.
So they rock up.
Yep.
He's like, I'll tell you all my secrets, but you have to stop these damn harpies.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
Which pisses off Zeus. Even though he presumably could just send some more straight away.
Yeah, immediately. He could send 1,000.
Yeah.
No, he's probably only got 2. They're endangered.
All of them wants the harpies taken care of.
But in a cruel twist of fate, he actually just wants Jason and the Argonauts to feed them well.
You missed the name.
I will retire from the podcast. J-Bot and the astromech droids.
Sure. So anyway, they devise a devious plan, don't they?
They use all their brains and cunning.
This is what happens when they don't have hair to help. This is the shit they come up with.
So they put the old man in the temple.
In the temple, yeah.
Sneaky onto the roof.
Yep. With a building-sized net that they suddenly have.
Argos, why have we got this giant net?
A giant net.
For fishing! This is not a fishing net. Very
There's
thick.
a harpy net.
This is for catching large creatures, but not bronze people. That's just silly, Argos.
They lure them into the temple with the old man's dinner.
4 other Argonauts run in.
For no real reason.
And poke the harpies a bit.
For no
Then
reason.
they all run out.
They run out, and they drop the net on the harpies.
I put them in a big... And then, that's my favourite bit of this scene, the harpies are caught and on the ground.
Yes, then they build a cage.
Then Jason's like...
Instead of building a cage to start with.
Yeah, foresight, guys, come on.
So then they get him...
Okay, what do you think of the harpy effect?
You can clearly see the wires sometimes.
Yeah. And they're always from a distance. With
Yeah,
Talos,
you never really see them close up.
I think you do when they're in the cage right at the end.
Yeah.
The other thing with all these scenes, which is a criticism, but I can understand why, they all go on too long, I thought.
The harpy scene did. I don't think the Talos scene did.
But I can see why, because this was in the 60s when there weren't home video formats, and you went to the cinema and you watched this, and that was your experience of it. So you wanted to get as much of it as possible. And because this was things people had never seen before, except in all the other movies that Ray Harryhausen made. But yeah, I think some of the scenes did drag, especially the harpy scene. The guy is like, he has a name as well. He's like, you got to go through the clashy cliffs.
Yeah, the clashy cliffs.
That's what I'm calling them. Got to go through the clashy cliffs, and then you'll get to Colchis. Go there. That's where the damn fleece is. Then they're all walking away. And then Jason turns round and he's like, now you'll be feeding them your scrap. It's like he's just leaving and then he thought of a really good line to say.
One more thing though that's important is the blind guy gives him that statue, that necklace.
He does. I'd completely forgotten that. He gives him a tiny little chess piece sized object. Not clear what it is, but it becomes clear.
Yeah.
A big splashy man.
Big splashy man.
Anyway, so they go to Rockfall Pass, as I wrote in my notes. They like, stop the boat before the rocks, and they're like, well, this doesn't look so bad. I don't see why they call it Rockfall Pass, Clashy Cliffs, Smashy Boat Drowny Place.
The third.
And then another boat comes through.
Conveniently just appears.
And they go to the Smashy Cliffs, and the boat comes in, and like everyone's like, well, they're passing through absolutely fine. And then the cliffs just through. There's like an enormous rockfall, an incredibly overdramatic rockfall, and it crushes the boat to pieces. Yeah. And it's left as splinters.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, damn.
Damn. So then they try and go through themselves.
Should we just talk about that effect for a minute?
What, the rockfall?
Yes.
I thought that was all right.
The rockfall was good, but it was a very obvious miniature. But I thought that was a rough effect. I was like, oh no, Timmy's ship has crashed in the bath.
Also, that's the bit where the guy falls out of the watchtower.
Yeah, so they hightail it through. Like, if we go fast, it'll be fine. And then rocks fall on them.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. Jason He's very up and down on the gods, isn't he?
Because at this point he's now saying, "Oh, the gods used us."
So he goes through at the beginning not believing in them. Then he goes and meets them and he's like, they're pretty great.
Yeah.
Then he asks Hera for everything he can get from her. Then he defies Zeus, doesn't he?
Yes, he defies Zeus by capturing the harpies.
The blind guy says, Zeus sent these harpies to torment me. And Jason's like, look, I've got some guys here. We've got a big net in the boat.
Got a big net in the van.
Do you want us to have a crack at this for you? And like, there's a whole loud thunder crash in the background, and they're like, "Oh, it's probably a coincidence." Anyway, as we were saying, we should stop the harpies that have been tormenting you. And there's another loud thunder crash, and they're like, "Maybe Zeus doesn't like this." The guy literally in charge of everything in the universe.
Yeah,
let's do it anyway. We'll put him in a cage later. He won't notice. And then he's real mad that the gods are just playing these games with them, which I suppose is the natural progression because they met the guy who's being tormented. And he throws his little man, that's not the smallest crewmate, he throws a little totem thing into the ocean.
The thing he got from the blind guy.
Yeah.
Throws that into the ocean.
Yep.
And then, my favourite effect.
Would you like to describe it, Will?
Well, a sort of middle-aged man with a very obvious beer gut.
Yep.
Just emerges from the sea and holds the canyon apart for them so they can go through.
And also he has a massive fishtail.
He does, yeah.
I think it's Triton.
It's Triton, yeah.
Yeah. Just before that, when the rocks are in full swing, there is some of the worst falling over acting I've ever seen.
Yeah?
The Argonauts just flinging themselves about in the ship. But it's clearly what they've done is they've got an enormous camera, wiggled it about a bit, and said, look, can you just jump from your bench onto the floor?
Yeah.
So a very large middle-aged man.
With a very obvious beer gut.
He holds the cliffs. He doesn't really stop the falling rocks, if we're honest.
He doesn't.
But, I mean, they slide through under his armpit.
One of my favourite bits is when they're sailing right past him.
Yeah.
And the look on Triton's face. It's like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you underneath my armpit? What are you doing down there?
So I have questions about the logic of this.
Yeah.
Was Triton trapped in that amulet? Did they release him when they threw him in the water?
Well, also, just before that scene, Zeus is like, ha ha, Jason's gonna get it now, ha ha.
Yep.
And then Hera goes, I have one last piece to play.
Yeah.
Puts the big statue of Triton down there.
On the chessboard, yeah.
Then Jason throws the amulet in. So I reckon the amulet just sort of summons Triton or like calls for him for help. But it's like the bat signal button for Triton.
So they sneak it through.
Yeah.
And then the second top billed actor in this movie, the woman, is found in the water 66 minutes into a 100-minute movie.
Yeah.
He pulls her out of the water, and she's real happy that this guy has saved her life.
Yeah.
We didn't mention the Triton. When he's done with the cliffs, he flops into the water, and then his tail disappears majestically like a whale. Anyway, so he rescues a woman from the water, and she's like, I'm the important person of Colchis.
What's her name again? We're not very good at this whole name business.
Her name is Medea.
I wrote it down because Medea, yeah.
Because when I was watching the credits at the beginning, I misread it as Medusa.
Oh.
I was real confused when Medusa never showed up. So yes, Medea. So she's like, hey, I'm the High Priestess of Colchis.
Well, she doesn't tell him that then.
I'm a person in Colchis. We were on this ship to throw flowers to the gods.
To try and appease them to not throw rocks at us.
To not throw rocks at the ship.
Here's another thing.
The merchant ship.
Why do they have to go through that pass? Because it's an island.
Why couldn't they just go round?
They just go around.
I have no idea.
But anyway, putting that to one side, they've gone there
Why don't they just walk over the land?
Yeah.
And then build the harbour on the other side of the crushy rocks. Is that not a cunning plan? Anyway, enough of the nonsense that is the crushy rocks.
They find Medea.
Yep.
She tells them that the ship was there to throw flowers at the sea.
To appease the gods so their merchant ships could go through, but the gods were clearly real mad at them for some reason. And then they have a little scene in a tent that they build at the front of the ship. And when he comes out, all the Argonauts are staring at Jason.
Yes.
Like, okay, sleeping with the enemy. Then they go to Colchis.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No?
I wrote this down. I wrote something of a sword fight.
Oh, yes!
So,
Yes.
the evil king's evil son,
Mm-hmm.
we'll call him Evil Prince, he decides that Jason is a terrible leader, and it should in fact be whatever his name is in the Argonauts. Terry.
Terry and the Argonauts.
They engage in a war of words.
Yep.
And then a war of swords.
Yep.
But a very poorly choreographed sword.
Yes.
How did you enjoy the sword fight?
I don't really remember it, to be honest.
That sums it up. It's the most generic bad sword fight you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They both swing directly at each other's swords. Someone probably swings around the mast at some point.
Yeah, probably.
And it ends...
It ends with the prince jumping over the side.
Yep.
And then some other guy jumps over after him. Then you see some very blurry pictures of some stabbing happening underwater.
It's underwater shots.
Underwater stabbing.
That must have
occurs.
been real... I didn't even think of that. That must have been a big deal back in the 60s.
But then the not prince guy,
Yeah. The swimmer.
the swimmer, his body comes back and he's been stabbed. He's been stabbed to death. Presumably by the prince guy.
I reckon it was someone completely unrelated.
And the Argonauts, for some reason, just assume that the prince guy must have drowned.
Yep. That's the only explanation.
He stabbed that guy to death and then drowned. We should point out that Jason at this point doesn't know that he is the king's son.
No, he doesn't.
He's just some random crew member as far as he's concerned. But they assume that he's stabbed the swimmer to death and then drowned, whereas in fact he swum off to Colchis.
Okay. We get to Colchis. And because of the Golden Fleece, it's a land of great peace and prosperity.
Yep.
And happiness and joy.
And very obvious backdrop paintings.
Yes. My question is the king evil?
No, he's not evil. He's trying to do what's best for his people.
Because this story is essentially about
It's about Jason. It's about, here we go. Jimbo and the alligators.
That's a good one.
They go to the Colchises to try and steal the source of all their wealth and prosperity.
Yeah.
And leave them a complete desolate ruin.
Yeah.
They're the bad guys in this
That's
film.
what I thought. The king even says, look, we can't let you take the Golden Fleece because if you do, our land will descend into war and ruin.
Yeah.
So, these guys are jerks. And then...
Well, we're kind of jumping ahead a bit.
Oh, what have we missed?
We've got the whole scene in the temple where... The scene in the temple's a bit inconsequential, but it is a bit weird that at that point he doesn't realise that Medea... He doesn't recognise Medea in the temple.
Yes.
And there's a scene in the temple where there's some temple dancers dancing around.
For about 5
One of the
minutes.
Medeas. That goes on too long.
Yeah.
Doesn't recognise Medea there. I'm not really sure what the situation is where he first meets the king. Like, what's going on
I
there?
think the king calls him out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
At the temple, they make like a little temple announcement, pre-worship.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
We'll get through the notices first.
Yeah.
Terry and Jerry are pleased to announce the death of their mother.
I was going to go with the birth of their son, but they're both men. That stops that up. The temple notices are not going well.
So after the guy who delivers the temple messages has been executed, Medea comes out.
Yeah. Well, they're like, there's a guy called Jason. If you see him and he's like, hey, can you tell us about the Golden Fleece? Just say, go see the king. He wants to have
That's
a
what
chat.
Medea says that.
Yeah. So,
Then the king is there and immediately calls out Jason.
and then they have a nice banquet together.
Mm.
I mean, he's welcoming them to the kingdom.
Yeah.
This king is the true hero of this story.
It is, yeah.
It should have been called the King
King
of Colchis.
The king of Colchis and the Colchisians. The Colcanauts.
And then halfway through, the king is like, hey, you came to steal our fleece.
Because the prince told him.
The evil prince.
The evil prince swam to Colchis and told the king what Jason's nefarious plan was.
Yep.
So then the king challenges Jason about this.
Jason's like, yes, that's exactly the plan.
And throws him in prison.
Justifiably,
Justifiably, yeah.
frankly. And
Yeah.
that's the end of the film. Justice being
And
done.
Jason being quite rightly imprisoned for his crimes against the people of Colchis.
Yep. I mean, he hasn't done any crime yet. Can we arrest a man before he does a crime?
Sure. If you're the king, you can.
Fair enough. So, sadly for the king of Colchis, his high priest, has fallen deeply and passionately in love with Jason.
After
seeing him once.
Yeah.
And what I wrote here, so I wrote down, betrayed, imprisoned, immediately released. Because that about sums it up.
Yeah, they spend really no time in prison.
Yeah.
He immediately gets released by Medea.
He doesn't even have a moment to be like, damn, if I stay here I can't go back and do that murder I'm supposed to do. Jason is a horrible person.
He is.
Although he wants the fleece so he can bring peace and prosperity to his land.
But he wants the fleece so he can become king.
Oh, he does. He wants to do
What's he gonna do when he becomes king is the question.
Yeah, they're immediately released by the woman.
Medea says that the price of her releasing him, even though she's opened the door and he could just walk out,
yeah.
But the price is apparently he has to take her with him.
Yeah, away from Colchis, the land of prosperity and health, where there's a magic sheepcoat that can, like, heal you.
Yeah.
So, the king finds out they've escaped. But there's another twist to the tale, Will. The evil prince has basically got Jason and the Argonauts out of the way so he can go steal the Golden Fleece. Yes. Cunning plan, I like it. He gets there, and is immediately killed by the Hydra.
Yep. I like the Hydra animation, actually.
Yeah?
I thought that was quite good.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good. I like, Harryhausen said it was one of the hardest things to animate, because it had 7 heads that all looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
But that was good.
That was good. I like the Hydra.
Yeah. The thing that lets down that scene with the Hydra is Jason's acting.
Yes.
Because he's
when
just
he's fighting, he's just flailing about.
He's waving a sword from side to side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good attack. But the Hydra's
pretty good, yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful creature. So he gets there. Evil Prince has been eaten by the Hydra.
Yep.
But Jason...
At this point, the king and his guard captain have rallied to chase them down.
Yep. They're chasing in the Argonauts.
Chasing the Argonauts, yeah.
Jason gets there. He engages the Hydra in a great duel. At no point does he cut off one head and 2 more take its place, which is a bit of a letdown, but I can understand.
That would be very hard to do.
I can understand why. And then he kills it by just stabbing it.
Yep.
Once.
Yep.
The one stab.
One stab.
Presumably where its heart is.
Yeah.
Good scene, though.
Acquires the fleece.
I mean, he takes a minute to marvel at it. It's a nice fleece.
Okay, so I think one of the naffest things about this film is the fleece.
Really?
Because it has 2 modes, right, doesn't it? It's one where it's sparkling and one where it's not.
Yeah.
I think when it's sparkling, it looks like a Christmas decoration. And when it's not sparkling, it looks like a bathroom rug.
Barely a golden fleece.
So I didn't like the fleece. I thought it looked naff.
I quite liked it when it was twinkling like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's their prize. Well, it has to look glittery, and it was worth giving up that golden javelin for. Because it's the twinkliest sheep you ever saw.
Yeah.
I wonder what the sheep was like when it was alive. Did it go around healing and bringing peace and prosperity? Who killed that sheep?
Just a mobile golden fleece.
So anyway, he slays the Hydra. And then my favourite bit of the entire movie happens.
Yeah.
So the king arrives and finds the Hydra slain. He is incensed at this.
Yeah.
He calls down, like...
Yes!
He shouts a big old, like a curse. A meteor flies down from the sky, engulfing the Hydra's corpse in flame, and it burns to a crisp. And then the king starts shouting about the teeth.
Yeah.
And he summons his soldiers to get the teeth, collect the teeth.
Yeah.
And then he starts, I can't remember exactly what the line was, but it's something like, I will bring forth the children of the night.
Yeah.
I will bring forth the children of the Hydra's teeth.
Basically what he says.
And then it just cuts away, and you're left wondering what on earth that could possibly mean. So,
Here we go.
Jimothy.
Up to a good start.
And the anonymous group of men with him are making off. I'm really annoyed at how seamlessly you can come up with one of these. For me, it's always
Jeremy and... Give me a moment.
So, yeah, they're making off with the Golden Fleece. And they've been chased down by the King's Guards.
Yeah.
The 3 King's Guards come after them.
Yeah.
They engage in a little sword play. And then someone just throws a rock.
No. Somebody throws his shield at one of them, doesn't he?
He does. And the guy's just so taken aback he falls off a cliff. Oh, it's great. But then they get cornered, don't they?
Yeah.
And the king, he runs up to the top of the cliff.
Yeah.
He Oh, do they shoot her? They shoot her with an arrow at some point. That's
They shoot
before that.
Medea with an arrow, yeah.
But then they put the fleece on her in a
It's
very,
better, yeah.
very slow, casual way. She's healed. And then the king comes up and he's like, I will summon the children of the Hydra's teeth. He throws them like he's sowing some wheat.
Throws the Hydra's teeth, yeah.
And then there's a good 20 seconds when nothing happens. Yeah. And we're all like, this king's just mad. I want a re-edit, because what it does is he sows the teeth and he steps back and he's like, no, you will face the wrath of the children of the Hydra's teeth.
Yeah.
And then it cuts, like, it shows his army, shows Jason and the Jason and his aunts.
His aunts.
And then there's a close-up on Jason, there's a close-up on the king, then the close-up on his soldiers, and a close-up on the Argonauts, and there's a close-up on the ground. And I want a re-edit of that where it's just 2 minutes of cutting from person to person, and then they realise nothing's happening. But eventually, like, the ground cracks, and a skeletal figure crawls out of the ground.
And the king... He's so excited by this.
He's ecstatic.
The first skeleton comes out. He goes, over there! And then the second one, he goes, another! And another! That's me!
They come out really slowly and he's thrilled every time.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had that kind of enthusiasm for anything. But imagine you were taught that spell, but the only way you could do it is if the Hydra died. And the Hydra is famously unkillable. Because when you cut off its heads, more of them come. So he'd be like, well, when am I ever going to get to use the children of the Hydra's teeth?
So this is a day he's been waiting for
his
a long
entire
time.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bittersweet because his favourite pet Hydra died.
His pet Hydra's dead.
But it has its upsides.
Yeah.
So then we get to the most famous scene of this movie. The skeleton fight.
Which I will admit is very well done.
It is very well done.
The only thing that lets it down is sometimes... So how they did it was, when they were doing the live action bits with the actors, they would have stuntmen in place of the skeletons. And then they would, put the skeletons over the top. And like sometimes you can tell, like when the swords clash with a skeleton or something, it doesn't quite line up very well, Yeah, but it is very well done. Yeah. Because
at the beginning of that scene, when the skeletons are coming out, they just stand there, and the king is thrilled. He's like, "Go kill them! Yeah. Destroy! Bring me the fleece!" The skeletons start walking menacingly towards the Argonauts, and they're like panicking. They don't know what to do. And then
the skeletons have really bad posture as well. They've probably died of like back problems.
Oh, the Hydra! It's about to slay me, but me back. It's finished me off.
The reason they couldn't fight the Hydra was because of their backs.
But they're walking menacingly towards the Argonauts, and then suddenly they will just straighten up and do a scream.
Yes, I have that in my notes. You see, it literally says here, skeleton shrieking, LOL.
But then the fight is very good. Very good.
Yeah.
The skeletons kill.
One of my favourite bits is one of the regular Argonaut dudes. I don't know his name. He probably has a name. But he like gets pushed back onto like some pillar or whatever, some slab. And the skeleton runs at him and he kind of flips the skeleton over the top.
Yes, that is good. There is a bit though when like the first shot of the Argonauts, they step up onto a plinth and the skeletons, all 7 of them run in. One of them runs in and immediately falls over. Which is hilarious. Because it must have been choreographed.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was a stuntman on that set and he ran in and he just fell over. Apparently, that took over 4 months.
4.5 months.
Yeah. And it lasts 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he would do... Because each skeleton has a neck joint, 2 arms, 2 legs. In every frame, he had to move all 5 of those joints on 7 skeletons. So he was doing something like 13 frames a day sometimes, which is just over half a second. Which is an insane amount of work. This guy, Ray Harryhausen, is incredible. His commitment to his work is second to none. The skeleton fight's great. He kills the 2 Argonauts.
Yep.
Jason jumps off a cliff.
Yep.
And swims back to the boat.
Yep.
They make off.
Yep. They did.
Apparently there was a sequel planned where it would be like the return journey, but it never got made. Quite disappointing.
I want to go back to the Tails fight, if I may. So perhaps my favourite part of the film, that we may have overlooked.
Okay.
But there's a bit, it's quite a wide shot, and you can see like Tails' leg, maybe, and maybe his waist. There's a bit where a guy runs up to Talos really enthusiastically and just stabs his toe with a spear.
Oh yes, that guy.
He's
He's
so
great.
determined.
He really gives it a go, doesn't he?
Another thing,
Go on.
like, there's a lot of people in this film whose voices were dubbed over.
Yeah.
So Medea's voice was dubbed over,
Mhm.
as was Jason's,
Right.
as was the King's Guard captain. Like, how disheartening must that be as an actor? Like, do your role, and then just get decided that no, your voice is horrible.
Your voice sucks.
Dub over it.
Yeah, that would suck. So I couldn't find much info on the actual movie.
Most of it is like rear projection. I think we
Yeah.
talked about this with
Superman. Yeah.
That was front projection,
Mhm.
which basically replaced. Well, not replaced, but is a slightly more advanced version of rear projection.
So rear projection's projecting it from the back.
Yeah, basically. So rear projection, you have the camera that you're filming it from.
Yep.
In front of that, you have a glass screen.
Yep.
In front of that, you have a projection screen.
Mhm.
And then the other side of that, you have a projector.
Right.
And you project the image onto the projection screen. And the projection screen is set up so that the image appears on the reverse side that's been projected of the projection.
On the camera side, yeah.
Then you do your stop motion in
Yeah.
front of that, and then have the camera filming it. And the reason you have the glass screen in front is so that you can basically film the rear image,
Yeah.
along with the stop motion, blocking out by putting basically black tape on the glass. You
I
block
see.
out anything that area of the screen will be in front,
That's genius.
and then refilm the bits that you want in front.
That's very good.
And then superimpose them. Yeah. And
Well done.
front projection, basically the only image is you use a two-way mirror to project the image from the front, which gives you the bonus of... Basically, if you project the image onto the screen from behind, it gets a bit blurry because you're projecting onto the screen from behind.
Yeah.
Where the front projection, you project on from the front, and it gives a better image, but it's basically the same. So the first instances of front projection in a film were the same year as this, 1963.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time front projection appeared in films.
But not in this one.
Not in this one, no.
Gotcha. Well, apparently Ray Harryhausen did the stop motion himself.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Aardman teams, they have, like, 20 people all working on the movie. All animating the same characters in different scenes. And that still takes them forever.
Yeah.
But if it took him 4 months just for the skeletons...
Well, that is the biggest scene, because like you said, there's 7 skeletons in each one. Although the Hydra
7 heads.
got lots of hairs, yeah.
So, obviously not as much movement on each head, but still, it's going to be a big deal. And the Talos thing is longer.
Mm. But it is only one guy.
One large chap.
In 1958, there was, I assume, a successful film.
Yeah.
The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Sinbad the Sailor.
Yeah, yeah.
And so to capitalise on that, they were originally going to call it Sinbad in the Age of Muses.
Really?
And it was basically going to have Sinbad would join up with Jason. And then I assume the story would remain the same, I'm not sure.
But he was just there too.
But just also with Sinbad, yeah.
Do you think they swapped him out for Hercules?
Maybe.
Oh, did you hear that while they were filming the ship off the coast
Yes,
of Italy?
yeah, okay, I'll let you talk.
No, you go.
But they were filming some footage of the Argo, and there's a British TV series called Sir Francis Drake.
Yeah.
And obviously the ship that Americans won't know this. But the ship that he used called the Golden Hind, they were getting some footage of that at the same time as the Joshua and the Applebee's were filming the Argo, and basically their shots clashed. But apparently, I don't know who said this, but one of the people on I don't even know which side this was on. I assume the Jason side.
I think so.
Said, "Get that ship out of here! You're in the wrong century."
Which is great.
I've only told it really badly.
No, well, I'll cut it down so that you say it in a beautiful, pithy way.
Okay, cool.
I found a Ray Harryhausen podcast,
Yeah.
which is all about Ray Harryhausen. They go
I
through
found
the
a
archive.
website called the Ray Harryhausen Archive,
Yeah.
but the domain isn't there anymore.
Damn. Well, I listened to one whole episode of the Ray Harryhausen podcast.
Yeah.
It is pretty great. I'd recommend it if you like Ray Harryhausen. And the episode was about Jason and the Argonauts, but they did an interview with John Kearney, who played the man whose name we always change because he got squished by Talos.
Nice.
And they were asking him about what it was like playing this character. and working with Ray Harryhausen and all that sort of thing. It wasn't super useful for this podcast, but it was very interesting. But apparently, I don't understand exactly how this works. He came out of the big jewellery box with Hercules, and they filmed that in a studio. So when the door opened, there's like a light shines through, and it was a giant studio lamp, and he got a face full of this light, right? Later that evening, he found that he was blind. He was fine until they got back to the hotel. Then he went and got a shirt out of his wardrobe and just turned around and couldn't see.
Okay.
And yeah, he was supposed to be down in the hotel at a party, and he was just blinded. And then he just changed the subject, never mentioning how his sight came back. Which, yes, cool. That happens. Also, he was real proud of the fact that when he threw the discus, it actually bounced.
Oh, nice.
And like the reactions of all the people behind him were genuine. But yes, that's the only two informations I got from that. Did you read that Tom Hanks said that this Jason and the Argonauts is the best film of all time?
I think I've seen him saying that, yeah.
He awarded Ray Harryhausen with an Oscar for doing great at special effects.
Huh. And
during his speech he said, this is the best film of all time. But it came out when he was like 7 or 8 years old.
Mm.
And I think it's the film that made him want to be an actor. It's not the best movie ever made.
It's not the best movie of all time, but it's pretty good.
Not going at the top of our lists.
No.
But it's still great. I'd happily watch this again.
Yeah, it's a fun film.
And I'm quite keen to go and see some of the other Harryhausen ones now. Like the Sinbad the Sailor.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Just because I want something else in the same vein as this. It's good fun. During the Triton scene, you may have noticed that it was filmed in slow motion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they filmed it at 96 frames per second, and apparently one of the cameras exploded. It couldn't cope with the super fast reel. So clearly not made to do that.
No.
They did it anyway. I think it's the last... Oh, no! I mean, we don't need to pad out the episode. We've done loads, but plot keywords.
Plot keywords, okay.
So this may become a recurring segment, because it's something me and you have done, but not on the podcast before.
Yeah.
IMDb has a section where you can put plot keywords in. So if you love a movie with the Hydra in, you click on Hydra and it shows you all the movies with Hydra. But some people put in odd keywords.
Yes.
So I would like to give you a list now of some of the plot keywords. Friends who live together.
What?
Are the friends that live together? Are they the gods?
Could be, yeah.
Because the Argonauts don't live together. They're just on a boat. Caught in a net. Throwing a rock.
I really love films of people throwing rocks.
Teeth.
There's teeth.
Yep. Keyring.
Keyring?
Keyring.
What is it a keyring?
No idea. But no explanation was provided. But apparently keyring... I can't even think of a key in there, if I'm honest.
No.
Anyway. Crushed to death.
Yeah.
Social security card.
What? Do people put these in manually? Or...
I assume people put them in. Fruit.
Okay.
Startled horse.
My favourite scene.
Falling over a cliff.
Falling over Hercules.
We should add that one. Last two. Frisbee.
Frisbee is a disgrace.
And one of our favourite things.
Yeah.
Title spoken by character.
It doesn't even have that.
Surely someone says it at some point. I mean, this wouldn't be a tag, well,
It
if
is,
they
but
didn't say it.
I'm pleased that that's a viable keyword, because that's one of my favourite things in a film.
Should have clicked on it.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, this might become a recurring segment.
Yep.
So, Will, should we blitz the ending?
Yep.
Best effect, worst effect?
I'm actually going to pick the Hydra as the best effect.
Interesting.
Just because the skeleton army is cliched.
I think some of the skeleton army shots are good, but I don't think all of them are.
Mm.
Some of them are a bit rough. But, I mean, that's understandable. 3 guys versus 7 stop-motion skeletons is going to be...
Yeah.
But I can see why it's the pinnacle. But I'm not choosing that either. I'm choosing Death of Talos. I think that's the character that has the most life in it. That really looks like a being experiencing pain. Because when the Hydra gets stabbed, all its heads just wiggle in the air.
Yeah, okay. Worst effect. I'm picking Triton's beer gut.
Good choice. Worst effect. There's several to choose from.
Uh,
Oh, we didn't talk about how the gods have that bath that they look into.
oh yeah.
They just have a big old pool of water,
Big old pool of water.
and they can see everything.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
What other thing for what? The discus? You could have the discus?
Oh, discus, definitely the discus.
Okay.
That's I need no more options. The discus bouncing over the rock. Worst effect. Jennifer Lawrence.
The best section. The Jennifer Lawrence section.
Now, there aren't many women in this movie at all.
There aren't.
There's Hera.
There's Hera. There's Medea. That's about it, actually, isn't it?
Or
As we've discussed, gender flipping is allowed.
Yep.
And we can also just change the film arbitrarily far.
We can do literally anything we want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this generally I propose them to you, but if
Yeah.
you've got any,
I mean, Apollo 13, I had a
you did.
good idea.
All right, so I assume we're discounting Medea
Yeah.
and Hera.
No, Hera's married to Zeus, so.
Fair enough. Zera, they're probably called. That's the celebrity couple name.
Zero.
Or Zeus.
It's tough.
We
Because
could
there aren't that many sort of fleshed out characters.
Argos.
Just building a ship.
Yes. I mean, he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything.
She could be the guy whose name we keep changing.
No, he dies, Joe.
Oh, yes, there are rules.
There are
Hercules. Jennifer Lawrence is Hercules. She'd be more fitting for the role than whoever they actually got.
Yes, but, I mean, he seems to be basically in love with the guy whose name we keep changing. So I'm not fond of that choice.
Okay. Well, obviously Jason.
I don't like Jason, though.
I do quite like him.
I don't
though.
like him. He's an asshole.
I think he uses his wits at least
He's
once.
a terrible leader as well. His men hate him.
I have the correct answer.
What?
It's the king.
Which king?
The king at the end.
The king who's just trying to look out
The
for
children of the night!
that one.
That king.
Could be that king. It's not a character film.
It's
I don't
not.
really have any particular preference on the characters.
It's
just
all about the effects, this movie.
This is a tough one.
The king is definitely
This is
the
a
king.
tough one.
Come on, it's the king.
What else do we have though? What else would there be?
Talos.
No, he dies or
Oh, he does!
crumbles. I guess.
Do all the monsters die? No,
Yeah.
she could be the harpies.
No.
She could be the blind man. Evil king.
Well, he dies off screen almost certainly.
No, he doesn't. He's still alive because they planned a sequel, and Jason had to go back and kill him.
Yeah, but he almost said he's gonna die.
We're all gonna die, Will. He's not. He's definitely alive at the end because Jason hasn't killed him yet.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the king, the other king.
The evil king. No,
No, the good king.
the best king.
The best king.
We have the evil king and the best
king
king.
who summons the skeletons.
Yeah,
Which I guess would be a queen now who summons the skeletons.
that's allowed.
That's fine. I'll go with that. It's because none of the characters are that pivotal to the plot, really.
Yeah, I think this is the first movie where we've gone through every character.
Yeah.
I can't even think of any dumb minor characters. She could be the horse that gets startled at the beginning.
No.
She just needs someone else to be the back of the pantomime horse. Ed Harris. Ed Harris and Jennifer Lawrence. No, Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum and Ed Harris are the pantomime horse.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence is the king riding on the horse, but only for the shot where she falls in the lake.
No, I think I'll go with the best king.
He's so good. And now finally, leaderboards. So well. Where does this go on your leaderboard?
I need to remind myself what my leaderboard is.
So we're looking at my bottom three, because let's face it, this isn't Jurassic Park, Die Hard, or Alien level, is it?
No.
But it's definitely worthy of the main leaderboard, because it's got some good effects in it.
It's not a silly film.
Well,
Like, okay, it's not a
it's not a Running Man,
not a
Death
Running
Race
Man
caliber
film,
movie.
yeah.
We should do another one of them soon.
Yours
Okay.
at the moment are Jurassic Park, Apollo 13,
No comments here.
Die Hard, Alien, Blade Runner, Batman Begins, Spiderman, Superman.
So we're looking down the Spider-Man Superman end.
Yeah.
I think your bottom is the same.
My bottom three are the same. Yeah, my bottom three are the same.
So yeah, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. So Will, give me an opinion.
It's better than Superman. It's not better than Batman Begins.
No.
Is it better than Spider-Man? It's a tough choice.
I definitely think Spider-Man is better, but I think Superman might be better.
Really? I think it might be better than Spider-Man.
So the thing with Superman is it's long and dull,
Yes, I agree.
but the effects in it, like the helicopter catch scene, are great, and the missile chase is great, and the reversing time's a bit ropey, if we're honest. But the effects in that are few and far between, but I really like them. In this, the movie is better overall, but the effects are a bit ropey and go on.
Well, we're not rating the effects for them.
No, I'm trying to balance between.
Like, if somebody suggested to me, do you want to watch Superman? I'd be a bit...
If someone said to you, do you want to watch...
somebody said, do you want to watch Jason and the Argonauts? I'm like, yeah, alright.
So if someone said, do you want to watch Spiderman or Jason and the Argonauts, which should we watch for? Oh, we both broke the rule!
Oh, we did!
Oh, no.
I was quoting someone else. He broke the rule.
Yeah, so was I. I was quoting that same guy. He can be kicked out of the podcast.
Yeah. I think it's better than Spider-Man.
Yeah?
I'm going to put it on Spider-Man.
Excellent. Now, okay, so if someone came to me and said, Joe, would you watch Jason or Superman?
Not Jason and the Argonauts. Jason.
I've re-edited the movie so that only the scenes with Jason in are here. It's 20 minutes.
I'm Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, Jason...
I edited it so it's only the scenes with Jennifer Lawrence.
It's just a blank disc. And we sit and stare at it for 2 hours. So here's the thing. If we hadn't had so many superhero movies, I think I'd put Superman in front.
Mm.
But because we have, and because I love a sword and sandal movie, and we barely get any of them anymore, I'm going to put Jason above Superman.
But below Spider-Man.
But it's not better than Spider-Man.
So you're saying that Jason is sandwiched between Spider-Man and Superman?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if he'd had Spider-Man and Superman, that would have made his journey much easier.
Yeah. If it had just Superman, it would have made
No, Spider-Man would be a valuable asset. Oh, I want to watch a movie now where, instead of Hero helping out Superman, Superman's just glued to the front of his ship for some reason. And instead of telling him about the ankle, he just uses his laser vision to cut a little hole. I think we're there.
You're done. Thank you for listening to Practically Effective.
Yes. Have we got anything else to say?
I was doing
No,
my
I mean
outro, Joe.
Pre that. We normally say what we're doing next week, don't we?
Well, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Also,
All
it's
right.
not next week. Next time. What are we doing next time?
Do an Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Black Panther.
Because Black Panther would have come out
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks before.
So, when we planned, the dates were a bit different. We had technical issues with uploading Apollo 13.
Yeah.
So we're a week behind where we should have been. So this one is going out the day Black Panther comes out, or maybe the day after Black Panther comes out.
Mm.
But next week we're doing Iron Man, and it's going to be a thrill, Will.
Yep.
A true thrill. Because Black Panther is just like Iron Man.
Yes.
Because Marvel movies.
Shall I wrap it up?
Yes. You always set you a terrible task
You
at the
do.
end.
What's a Jason-related task?
You can slay the Hydra.
Just like the Hydra. So a lot of the voices in Jason were dubbed. So you need to dub my voice.
Well, I mean, you stole my intro, so...
Well, you need to steal the outro. I'm not going to give it to you.
Alright.
Do you even know the outro?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, I'm William. I'll
Wow.
do the introduction of this
I'm
podcast.
very offended.
Thank you for listening to Practically Effective. We are a podcast on the internet. You can contact us via email at practicallyeffective@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We're also on the Facebook and the Twitter at practicallyfx.
Yeah.
If you want to hit us up on there, please do. We'd appreciate comments and feedback. Also on SoundCloud, thanks to Chris, again, thanks for the episode. He has commented under the SoundClouds
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a couple of our episodes. You can do that. That's a thing.
You did that ages ago.
I know.
I told you about it at the time.
I know.
Also, you forgot to mention where they can listen to us.
I know, but I'm getting there. I'm rambling.
You're terrible at this.
I suck at it, yes. You should do intro and outro and everything in between. Anyway, you can listen to us on
If
SoundCloud.
Jennifer Lawrence, if you'd like to be my co-host, please get in touch.
Yeah, who would you replace with Jennifer Lawrence on Practically Effective? Obviously me.
Yeah.
She's probably a far more eloquent speaker than I am.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I've seen
You're
her speak.
terrible.
You heard it here first, folks. This should be our actual outro. You just insult me while I try and desperately get through all the things that we have on social media.
You still haven't said where they can listen to us.
They can listen to us, Will, on SoundCloud, iTunes, and on YouTube.
If I ever get around to uploading them on YouTube.
Most of them are on YouTube.
All of them except Apollo 13 are on YouTube.
Do they get any views?
Not really. I think they average like 2 or 3 each.
Also, please email us suggestions.
Yes.
We love a suggestion.
Just suggest films.
Yeah.
I mean, you can suggest other things. We might not do them.
Dear hosts of Practically Effective, please talk about pasta.
We can talk about the times that pasta has been used for effects in films.
I imagine that's
Special idea.
very limited. Yeah, this week on Practically Effective, we're doing a special. It's about pasta.
Pasta. Well, we're done now, so...
We are done. All right. That means I have to leave your intro in, otherwise it'll make no sense.
Shut it down.
All right, goodbye, everyone.